Once upon a time there was a guy who decided that he was just so fed up with living modern life he couldn't take it anymore. So he sold off everything he had. He gave all his money away to charity, but he kept just enough money for a one-way trip to a monastery in Tibet. So off he went. He caught the plane, and then a train, and then a worse train, and then a bus, then a worse bus, and finally a grueling trip up the mountainside on a yak. He finally made it, and although his guide was killed, he was fine. He couldn't believe how beautiful this monastery was. There was only one thing which he didn't realize when he'd booked it. It was a silent monastery, and he thought that meant there was lots of peace and quiet, which suited him. But what it actually meant was all the monks had taken a vow of silence, and you could only say 3 words a year. So they took him down to his little room with no door or windows. He sat there for the whole year, basically freezing his keister off. He couldn't believe how cold it was. He used to just shake and shake and shake. He developed a kind of a stoop. His jaw was constantly shivering, so just as well there was no one to talk to. At the end of the first year, they brought him before the big council meeting. All the monks were in the great hall, and on a throne in the middle was the Grand Poobah, the leader. He shuffled forward pathetically, and the Grand Poobah said, "Initiate, what are your 3 words?" And he looked up, and he unclenched his jaws, and he said, "I am cold." And all the monks went, "Ooh, ooh, ooh." And the Grand Poobah said, "Make this initiate warm." So they took him away to a much better room with a big fire, lots of rugs, new robes. He was as warm as toast. Another year passed, and whilst he wasn't cold, he was incredibly hungry all the time. In fact, almost bordering on malnutrition. His body weight had dropped by about 1/3, and his skin just hung from his frame. He didn't get about much either, because as he was weakened by hunger. At the end of the second year, they brought him before the council of the Grand Poobah once again, and the Poobah said, "Initiate, what are your 3 words?" And the guy said, "I am hungry." And the monks went, "Ooh." And the Grand Poobah said, "Give that initiate more food." So off he went back to his cell. So he had lots more food this time around. And another year passed. At the end of the 3rd year, they brought him before the Grand Poobah once again. And the Poobah said, "Initiate, what are your 3 words?" And the man said, "I am leaving." And the Poobah said, "That's bloody good. You done nothing but complain the whole time you've been here."